So I want people to understand that I'm going to name some of the poisons. You would never consume them if they weren't repetitively riddled throughout your environment, your media. And the reason they put it in the movies purposely is because you will lose your ability to think laterally, which means you will never figure your way out of the problem. So if you go back in the ancient manual of this ruling group, mind control, controlling the repetitive content in the media, will get you X amount of the population doing exactly what you want. But if you poison them first, you're going to get double or triple the compliance quotient. Because if you can shut down the thinking, if you can injure the animal, if you can weaken the animal through poisoning, weak animals need the group or herd or wolf pack more than a strong animal for survival. So the weaker you are as a human, the more you comply with the repetitive content, because the repetitive content represents the bigger group. The more poisoned you are, the more you comply with my messaging. So not only am I going to control the messaging to control your destiny, I'm also going to throw in a whole bunch of repetitive content. So you drink alcohol, so you drink coffee, so you order takeout, so you keep your cell phone in your back pocket or your purse. And I want to pump in as many poisons as possible, also knowing as the mind controller, like if I worked for the ruling family, I'm well aware that you're not going to consume all the poisons I put out there. You're not going to vape or smoke. You're not going to smoke marijuana, and you're going to do some of them. And I'm happy with that as the controller, because as long as you're poisoning yourself in some way, unless you're reacting, as long as you're reacting in some way to my repetitive content to poison yourself as Olympic sport, I win as the mind controller. So maybe you don't drink, but you vape. Maybe you don't vape, but you drink coffee every morning. And maybe you don't drink coffee every morning, but you drink wine at night. To the ruling group, absolutely fantastic. As long as some of the repetitive content that tricks you to poison yourself in order to fit in with the bigger herd, that doesn't even exist. I manufacture it as the controller. I manufacture the existence of the bigger herd by flooding your subconscious with the content I want. Then you have a magnetic affinity and you walk toward it. Coffee is their absolutely most favorite psychoactive drug for controlling the population out of all the repetitive content that they lace throughout your media. Coffee's number one, alcohol's number two. Alcohol used to be their number one till around 1610. The ruling group in 1610 was residing in the United Kingdom as the ruling group there. They discovered the caffeine in some of their colonies in the teas. But in around 1680, when they were doing, I think, cutting through Saudi Arabia, they found coffee. And they hurried back and said, you think the caffeine disrupts health and disrupts brain function, which it really does. Caffeine, if you look it up on the internet right now, you'll see that caffeine shuts oxygen flow and blood flow down to the brain by 20 to 30%. And that's a low ball estimate, but that's what you'll find on Google. The big favorite effect is if you drink coffee, you deactivate and have a lot less blood flow and oxygen to what's called your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain, the most evolved part of your brain just behind your forehead. It's the CEO and spiritual center of your mind. It's the morality center, and it's your ethics center. And if you haven't noticed, in today's day and age, there's a big gap in the morality and ethics rolling around. And this group knows this. They know this stuff. You don't know this stuff. You think that coffee's on your every corner because it's great, because you hear it's great. Now, who do you think's telling you it's good for your kidneys and good for your liver? And if you drink coffee, you live 5 years longer. Who do you think's organizing that for you? Who do you think owns Starbucks? The subconscious knows the caffeine is poison. How do we know caffeine is poison? is because it's known, and caffeine is known as what's called an alkaloid poison. It's used by the coffee plant and many other plants to kill bugs and to kill other competing foliage that grows around the caffeine producing plant. Caffeine kills things.